The Chosen Season 4 is in theaters as we speak, therefore, I have complete freedom to talk about anything that I want to that happened in Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3. All bets are off. I don't have to hold back on anything. With that said, if you have not seen The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3 in theaters yet, first of all, I would recommend you go ahead and purchase those tickets, go out to your local theater, go see it on the big screen with all of your fellow Chosen fans. I promise you it is worth it. It is a great, fantastic experience, and I highly recommend you go check out those episodes. However, if you haven't seen the episodes, or if you don't have a theater near you or the means to go to the theater and see the episodes, I would recommend you click off this video, but I can't force you to do anything. We've all read the book anyway, so you're more than welcome to stay, but just keep in mind that in this video, I'm going to be saying tons of spoiler content about The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3. So, with that said, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Hello everybody, my name is Eli Hollingsworth and welcome back to Against the Current, a The Chosen podcast. We can finally talk about anything we want to about The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3. It has been a year since we've gotten anything from The Chosen. We're so happy that we get to see more of our favorite show, The Chosen, which is so awesome and just as epic as we remember it. Now, since like I just said, this is a spoiler-filled video, I can talk about whatever I want to, and in today's spoiler review of The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3, we're going to be basing The Chosen and rating it off of 4 categories. Those categories are story, tone, character, and Bible. And first of all, with story, we're going to give it an 8 out of 10. This is just basing it off of the storyline contained within the show itself. Throwing away any Bible or spiritual elements, this is just, does it work as a TV show? Does it work as a show that progresses along in a certain structure, with certain development and character points that all merge together with music and sound effects and acting and dialogue to create an experience that's cool and awesome, and I would give it an 8 out of 10. Now, I had people around me, family who I went to go see it with a few weeks ago at the world premiere in Los Angeles, who said it moved kind of slow, and I can see where they're coming from. Now, it is a dialogue-driven show and a drama, so therefore it includes a lot of characters talking. It's not a Marvel movie, right? So there's likely going to be a lot of talking, and every season does kind of start building you back into the show, putting you back in this world and putting you back on this adventure with its characters. So it does take a little bit longer to get back into the season and kick off on our adventure again. So I think the season starts a little bit slower, but I think it's one of the stronger starts to a season. I really enjoyed Season 4, Episode 1. It's a great episode. But I do think it moves a little bit slowly. We're really diving into the Roman characters, which we all love, but Jesus doesn't even show up till a long time later in the episode, which is how it's been in previous seasons, but we weren't spending a ton of time with the disciples, we were spending a lot of time with the Roman party, which this season is going to be more Roman focused, so that makes sense, but I'm just saying, in terms of story and plot, to some people, the Roman aspects may not be as interesting as some of the disciple stuff. I still love it because I love learning all of the politics and the socio-economical things that are happening in the world of the first century Middle East at this time. But there is a lot more world building and a lot more slower moments of just characters talking to each other. So the pacing, the structure of it, it does work very well, and it is all very well thought out and well paced. The way scenes build to each other and the way the story flows is very organic, and it is hard to adapt the Bible stories into a long TV show form, right, in a way that the story flows and makes sense. So the writers, Dallas, Ryan, and Tyler, they do have to do a bit of work there, workshop how the story flows, what pieces fit where, and how the story all merges together. And these characters have to go on an arc every season. That's how a TV show works. They have to learn lessons, they have to grow, they have to change, they have to make choices that force them to change who they are and evolve and grow as characters. So, merging all of that together, I will say the story is an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the season, the first 3 episodes. I mean, come on, you gotta love The Chosen. Next up, we have tone, and that's going to be a 9 out of 10. Now, what do I mean by tone? The tone is how scenes feel, how the emotions are felt, how happy or sad a scene is, how dramatic or chill a scene can be. And in Season 4, Episodes 1, 2, and 3, there's a lot of great tone balancing here. That's why it's a 9 out of 10, obviously. Now, it's Episodes 1 and 2, like I said before in my review and I've said previously, there were a bit more jokes than I was expecting. And as I went back through and thought about all of the events that happened, there were some really funny moments. And this continues a sense of humor and a wittiness and a cleverness to a kind of dry and sarcastic sense of humor almost that really kind of speaks for itself that we've seen in the previous 3 seasons so far. And it is very funny, and there are scenes to where The Chosen is not afraid to go and poke a little fun at certain things that you maybe wouldn't expect them to. they make you think about their jokes. Their jokes are really jokes that make you go, huh, is that okay? Are we going to allow that one? And most of the time, you do. Now, some cause a bit of controversy as they have in the past, but I don't see any in these 3 episodes causing any controversy. But specifically in episodes 1 and 2, the comedy is really, really present. And it's even in some scenes that you would think would be much more dramatic, but there are a few jokes thrown in there that are well-timed, well-placed, and well-executed by whether it be the actors or the way the dialogue was written. It does put a smile on your face, and it is needed in those moments. Because if a TV show like The Chosen, which is a drama by nature and is tackling these very serious and grandiose themes and topics of salvation and Jesus coming to save the world, experiencing the fullest of the human experience and giving it up to die on the cross for all of us to save our sins, there are some things that could lend itself to being cheesy. If the show takes itself too seriously, there could be some points where it's trying to be serious and trying to have an emotional moment, but it doesn't quite land because it is too serious and it might come off as comical. There has to be some levity to some situations. You have to be able to look at yourself as a show, not be too self-conscious, too meta, too out there, and too funny, but be able to look at yourself and point out some comedic moments and put a smile on the audience's face. In The Chosen, because Dallas Jenkins, Ryan Swanson, and Tyler Thompson, the 3 writers, are extremely talented writers, they know when to balance the comedic and the serious, and they do that very well always. So, there are some comedic moments, and again, you do have to draw the line because it could almost take itself too unseriously and be too silly, and then the emotional weight would be lost, and there is a lot of emotional weight in Season 4, Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Now, once you get to Season 3, it gets a little bit more dramatic, and the season is getting heavier and heavier because we are getting to more serious events down the line, but at least for how the show is balanced, the way the tone progresses throughout these 3 episodes, it's done very, very nicely. The tone is a 9 out of 10 because it makes sense for any given scene, and the revelations that the characters have and the journeys they go on all make sense with the tone and the way the emotions are played in every scene. Next up, we've got character. How do the characters progress? Now, this is kind of similar to story, also a little bit different. The Chosen is really concerned with making their characters feel like real, authentic people, whether it be with John the Baptist and the way he's going off to his death, or the way Simon and Peter have their revelation in Season 4, Episode 2, when they make up and Peter forgives Matthew. The characters have to feel real and authentic, and sometimes in the scriptures they make choices that might feel out of left field because we don't have the full story and we weren't there, right? So The Chosen does a very good job of balancing how characters would act in certain moments, how Simon and Matthew's relationship evolves to where Matthew, being a tax collector, deserting his people, choosing to earn more money for himself and turning his back on his entire culture, specifically targeting Simon and his family and coming after him, as we saw in Season 1. Simon, as a normal person, and the way the show is written to where things are plausible, also taking creative liberty to explore storylines and characters that would be compelling and entertaining to watch. Simon naturally feels very backstabbed and betrayed by Matthew and holds this resentment for Matthew in his heart. Matthew takes this to Jesus, and Jesus tells him to ask for forgiveness from Simon. Matthew, also having his side of the story to where he was rejected by his father, and he was pushed into a lot of these decisions that he didn't fully agree with, also has a bit of work to do himself. And all of these characters, as The Chosen loves to portray, are broken, damaged people who make all of the same mistakes and have all of the same bad choices and qualities that we do as people in the 21st century. They really make an effort to show how we can relate to these characters, like Peter, or Matthew, or James and John, who get jealous of Peter, as well as most of the other disciples, when he gets called by Jesus in Caesarea Philippi to be the rock upon which he builds his church. Us in the modern century act just as stupidly as these disciples. So character, in balancing the way the characters react to certain moments to where they add in little levity jokes, to where the disciples are still getting used to calling Simon Peter now after he's had his name changed. It's little moments like that that you wouldn't think of. But the writers so cleverly added jokes in that make sense with the character, make you think about how the time would have been and how things would have been for Jesus' followers in the first century. And they all come together to make what we all love about The Chosen a very thoughtful, thought-provoking, and insightful experience. So character, all in all, is a 9 out of 10. And finally, we have Bible, which I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 as well. The Bible moments in these 2 episodes are prevalent. This season, I think we're going to get a lot more Bible moments because there are still stories in the Gospels yet to tell before we get to Holy Week, which is going to be Season 5, then the Crucifixion, which is Season 6, and the Resurrection, which is Season 7. there's still a few more stories to tell. So I think we're going to see a few more key Bible moments here in season 4 because they're kind of running out of time. So the Bible moments in this episode are prevalent and they are portrayed in a very awesome way. All of those things that I just mentioned, story, tone, and character, they are extra biblical parts of the show. They have to add in things or add in moments, add in scenes that are plausible that could have happened, but sometimes take a pretty decent amount of creative liberty to also make the show entertaining to watch. We know that a lot of the stuff happening probably didn't happen in the first century, but it also has to make sense within the realm of a show. Sometimes Jesus is preaching to the modern day audience and is giving a lesson that us in the 21st century can learn from, but there is also a balance that has to be walked with how well it fits into the biblical narrative. And in these 3 episodes, there is a lot of biblical monologue given by Jesus. He's saying things that are pulled straight from the Bible. The writers, Tyler Thompson, Ryan Swanson, and Dallas Jenkins, do a very good job of tying in moments from the Bible, from Matthew 18, from Jesus saying, "Forgive your brother 70 times, 7 times." That's a great passage that they included in season 4, episode 2, or when Jesus is saying, "Woe to the Pharisees" in season 4, episode 3. All of these moments included in these episodes are from the Bible. There's a lot more in here than sometimes there has been in the past with certain chosen moments, but they never fall too far out of the realm of plausibility. And that continues here in season 4, episodes 1 through 3. Plausibility stays the same, and the creativity is soaring to new heights. Bible, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. Out of all of these 4 categories, story, tone, character, and Bible, they all merge together to give The Chosen season 4, episodes 1 through 3, a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed these episodes. And why wouldn't I? Because The Chosen is still continuing to write great storylines that make you think more about the Bible, get you more invested in reading Scripture, get you talking about these very important subjects with other people in a way that's fun, entertaining, and funny. Chosen is continuing more of what we love, and I couldn't be happier to see it. So, what did you think of The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3, now that all of us have had the chance to see them? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. I want to hear from you because it's not just about what I think, because this is a family, right? So, I want to hear your thoughts, and if you want to hear my full in-depth review of every single thing that happened in The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 1, 2, and 3, you can go ahead and listen to my podcast, which is where I mainly talk about the show, down below in the description. Go find it on your local listening platform. Go check out my reviews. I promise you won't be disappointed. And if you haven't subscribed to Against the Current A The Chosen podcast yet, I would highly recommend you do that because it would mean a lot to me, and I want to have you part of this community. And I will see you guys in my next video. Binge Jesus.